Hello there. Now, as I'm talking about cannibal films and video nasties, why not the next cannibal film? That being, if I can memorise it, it has two titles. That being The Lost Cannibal World, and the second title being Cannibal or Cannibals. Has a lot of different titles, but I actually like The Lost Cannibal World. Now, this actually does have a lot of interesting taboo about it, because most cannibal films had a copy of this after this. By what I mean by that, they tried to make out that it was a true story. And if you ever saw the original trailer to The Lost Cannibal World, it even mentions this is inspired by a true story. Now, if you believe this is a true story, you believe I'm a fucking lottery winner. In other words, it ain't. A lot of cannibal movies did that because it was a way of trashing in to make it out it was real incidents and this really happened, and cannibals, men living in the Stone Age, still exist. As we all know, cannibals, whether they do exist now or they don't, is a different story. But it was how they did it, and it's how they marketed cannibal films. This being the second one does have a bit of interesting taboo, because you do get a few other actors or actresses who appeared in the last one. That, as I mentioned, was Deep River Sapphires, or the man from Deep River. It starts an interesting story, as it starts off with a couple of people hunting for oil. They go to a jungle, after landing their plane, to a jungle looking for oil, which at that time that's what a lot of people did. It was cheap and it was easy money. So they're looking for oil and they're looking for the rest of their people who were there. They find them missing. They find the aeroplane missing, and they go through the jungle and they find their remains, their bodies. They find spears and other weapons on the way, which showed that cannibals were there. The dude who's with them goes missing. Obviously he gets killed, and the guy accidentally walks into a cannibal trap, gets speared, and he fucking dies. One of the characters you start to think is a bit hateful, funny enough, becomes the main character. He gets captured by a couple of cannibals. I wouldn't say they were cannibals though, again I'd say they're natives. If they were cannibals, they would have killed him. Again, it's your typical jungle and adventure film. And I will be honest, I do actually love T.T. Lane in it. It was in the last cannibal film. That again, as I just mentioned. Man from Deep River. They're not shy at ripping them out. And the guy does get mistreated a lot. You could say it's the first time you see bungle jumping at the top of... They lift him up. It's hard to explain this. They lift him up on this rope, right? And they lift him up. Boom! Drop him down. Doesn't die because the rope's holding him up. And they think, because they saw the aeroplane, that this man can fly like a bird. Again, like the last cannibal film, there's a lot of cruelty to animals, and a lot of animals are getting killed for real. Some like you see in your animal life programs, like that book I've got over there, what I showed you. Which you see, it doesn't really bother me. I mean, animals, as you already know, kill animals, and they eat an animal. You know, eat or be eaten. That's what animals do, they kill and eat other animals. Could do with do some sound effects in it, but that bit didn't bother me because you can see that in any wildlife program. The only bits I can't be doing with is people killing animals just for shot value. But, you know, it's an era of its time, and that's what cannibal films did. The man Taxes to Do, played by T.T. Lane, that's what's the name, runs off and he gets away anyway, after being mistreated and held as a prisoner. You kind of feel sorry for him, but you don't, because there's a scene in it which, if they want to cut the scene out, wouldn't really fucking bother me. Because T.T. Lane, the character, well, the actress it played, well, you know, she tries to run away. What does he do? Bang! Punches her. That's the bit what isn't really that bad. The bit what's bad is he rapes her. But I never got this. After he rapes her, right? She then afterwards makes him food and all lovey-dovey with him. I never did get that scene, and I felt this was a way to take the scene cut. but it is what it is. I have actually got the uncut version. I'm not saying now, but yeah, The Lost Cannibal World is an interesting one. You know, I like the scenes, I like the shot of the jungle. It's very well shot. The only bits where I feel cheap in it, like I said in my last review, it's the animal cruelty and the animal death scenes. But it's beautifully shot in its original widescreen format. It's definitely a beautifully done film. And apart from the film, he just meet up with his mate who went missing. Funny enough, was in Man from Cheap River. He was the man who paid him himself. The dude gets killed halfway. This is when you do see cannibals at the last fucking minute. And it does get a bit gruesome at this point. It's very graphic. They saw him killing the dude, and then they saw him ripping the ducks out, the eating her. The funny thing is, when I watched it in its uncut form, I'm not being weird here, all it did was make me fancy a fucking doner kebab. Here I am, pulling the ducks out, pulling the insides out, and the munching on it, and the cooking it. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what I could murder now? I could just murder a special doner kebab. Big 9-inch, 9 bread, fucking special doner kebab. And as I was saying, all it did was just make me fancy a nice big juicy special doner kebab. You know, the munching on it, they cut her head up, they pull her ducks out, the munching on it. And it just makes me fancy a nice big juicy special doner kebab. I was just hungry when I was watching it. But you know, I don't watch in blood, I don't watch in door. So it never really had that much of an effect on me. But the guys get away, they get wounded. The head cannibal tries to fight with our main character, kills him, pulls his, I think it's his heart, not sure it's his heart or his guts, but he pulls it out in front of the cannibals, munches on it, again making me feel a bit pecky, so thinking, you know what, I can just murder a nice special doner kebab. But in a way, I'm not sure if it just made other cannibals think he was a cannibal and he's now the leader, I don't fucking know. But they left him alone, they got away, they fixed the aeroplane, the aeroplane flies away in the sunset, they get away. And it ends with this music. A bit of the music's a bit annoying though. It feels like there's bits of the music where it's missing, you know. I can't do it because I won't do it any fucking justice. But you ever hear the music to The Lost Cannibal World, you see what I mean. Now they have said on video that there were every bits cut, but me having the uncut version, it's hard to see which bits were cut. I don't mind the Lost Cannibal film, you know what I mean? The Lost Cannibal World, I should say. I don't mind it, even though it's lots of different cycles. Because it's just more like I said in the last one, it's more of a jungle adventure film. You get past the gruesome bits and the animal cruelty, which is ahead of its time. It's not a bad one. The films do get worse as the cannibal films go on, you know. And ironically as it is, the same producers who did this would later do Cannibal Holocaust. But this one was a lot more pedophile than what's, you know what I mean, apart from the gruesome bit of killing the doe, paid by T.T. Lane, and then ripping the ducks out and eating it, which just made me fancy a special doner kebab. It's too, even though it's hard in the watch, it wasn't as bad as others. Yeah, it was banned in the UK, and banned in a few other countries over the days. Video nasty. It's not as bad as most of the other cannibal films. Like I said, if we get past the animal cruelty, the animal sort of scenes, were done for real. If I get past all that, I'd just say it's your typical Italian, overacted if it's a word in that era, your typical Italian jungle adventure film. Into then, talk about other things. And I'll see you later, as I'm now going to murder something myself. A special doner kebab. Into then, see you later.